point fingers than to look in the mirror. We say, it's because of my parents, it's because of my friends, it's because of that one moment, and slowly, we build a wall of excuses around ourselves. These excuses protect us from guilt, but they also trap us inside. The truth is, change never begins with blame. It begins with responsibility. As long as you keep blaming others, you give them power over your emotions and your life. The moment you decide to stop blaming, you take that power back. Blame is comfortable. It allows you to stay in the same place without doing the hard work of self-reflection. When you say, they made me like this, you're telling yourself that you're helpless. But you're not. No one else is controlling your choices. No one else is living inside your mind. Your reactions, your decisions, your healing, they belong to you. Yes, people can hurt you, situations can break you. Life can throw things at you that you never expected. But blaming others for your pain will not change what happened. It will only keep you stuck in the past, repeating the same story over and over. When you choose to stop blaming, you are not saying that what others did was right. You are simply choosing to focus on what you can control. You can't control someone's actions, but you can control how you respond. You can't control what life gives you, but you can control how you rise from it. When you shift your attention from others to yourself, you unlock the real power to change. Instead of wasting energy on anger, you use that energy to build a better version of yourself. Instead of waiting for apologies, you learn to move forward with strength. Many people spend years blaming their circumstances for the way their life turned out. They say, I could have been better if only this didn't happen. But life doesn't wait for anyone. If you keep holding on to blame, you will miss the opportunity to grow. Blame is like carrying a heavy bag on your shoulders. At first, you don't realize how much it's weighing you down. But with time, it makes you tired, bitter, and stuck. The moment you drop that bag, you feel lighter. That's what happens when you stop blaming and start taking responsibility. You free yourself. Taking responsibility doesn't mean you have to have all the answers. It simply means you are willing to look at yourself honestly. You ask, what can I do to make things better from here? Maybe you need to change the way you think. Maybe you need to change your attitude. Maybe you need to stop waiting for someone else to fix what is broken inside you. When you start asking these questions, you begin the process of real change. It's uncomfortable. It's challenging, but it's the only way forward. Blame keeps you focused on the past. Responsibility turns your eyes toward the future. One keeps you stuck, the other sets you free. When you stop blaming others, you stop giving them the pen to write your story. You take that pen back into your own hands. You realize that no matter what happened, the next chapter is yours to write. You are not defined by what others did to you. You are defined by what you choose to do now. This is where transformation begins. Not in changing others, but in changing yourself. Pain is something every person experiences. It comes in different forms, sometimes as a sharp moment that changes everything, and sometimes as a slow ache that stays for years. No one is free from it. Life tests everyone in ways they never imagined. Some lose people they love, some face failures, some battle with their own thoughts every day. Pain is a part of being human. It cannot be avoided, controlled, or ignored forever. What truly makes the difference is not the presence of pain, but the way you respond to it. Pain can either break you down or build you up. It can make you bitter or make you wiser. The choice is always yours. Many people see pain as the enemy. They run away from it, hide it behind fake smiles, or bury it deep inside. But pain doesn't disappear just because you ignore it. It stays until you face it. Pain is like a teacher who doesn't leave the classroom until the lesson is learned. When you allow yourself to face it, to sit with it, to feel it fully, that's when growth begins. Growth never happens in comfort. It happens when you are pushed beyond what you thought you could handle, and you still choose to move forward. Pain can be unfair. Sometimes you didn't do anything to deserve it. It comes without warning and changes the direction of your life. But even then, Pain brings with it a hidden gift, the power to transform you. When something hurts deeply, it shakes your core. It removes the masks, exposes your weaknesses, and forces you to meet your true self. It gives you a chance to rebuild with more strength and clarity than before. People who grow through pain are not the ones who had easy lives. They are the ones who decided to rise, even when rising felt impossible. The problem is, many people stay stuck in the feeling of pain, but never move to the stage of growth. They keep asking, "Why me?" again and again. While this is natural at first, living in that question forever keeps you trapped. The moment you shift from "why me" to "what can I learn from this?" your mindset changes. Instead of seeing yourself as a victim of life, you begin to see yourself as someone who can learn, adapt, and grow. Pain stops being something that only hurts and starts being something that teaches. Growth through pain doesn't happen overnight. It's not a sudden burst of motivation. It's a slow, steady journey. It begins when you stop running from your emotions and allow yourself to process them. It's in the nights when you cry but still choose to get up in the morning. It's in the moments when everything seems dark, but you take one more step forward. Every small step builds strength. With time, you look back and realize that the pain that once felt unbearable became the reason you became who you are now. Pain also humbles you. It teaches you empathy. When you've been through struggles, you understand others more deeply. You become more kind, more patient, more aware of the silent battles people fight. Pain shapes your character in ways comfort never can. It makes you see the world differently. It pushes you to grow in resilience, in understanding, and in faith. It strips away what is fake and leaves behind what is real. Everyone goes through pain, but not everyone grows from it. The difference lies in the choice you make when pain knocks at your door. You can let it define you, or you can let it refine you. You can let it drown you, or you can let it lift you higher. Pain will visit every heart, but growth belongs to those who decide to use that pain as a stepping stone instead of a cage. Everyone carries scars. Some are visible, and some are hidden deep inside where no one can see. Scars are reminders of pain, of moments when life knocked you down, of times when things didn't go the way you hoped. Many people spend their lives trying to hide their scars because they believe scars make them weak or broken. They cover them with fake smiles, silence, or by pretending they are fine when they are not. But hiding scars doesn't erase them. It only makes you live with a constant fear of being exposed. True strength comes when you stop hiding and start accepting your scars as a part of who you are. Scars tell stories. Each one carries a lesson, a moment of survival, or a turning point. They are proof that you went through something difficult and you made it out alive. Instead of seeing scars as something to be ashamed of, learn to see them as symbols of endurance. Every scar represents a battle you fought, even if the fight wasn't perfect. It's easy to look at someone else's life and think they have it all together, but everyone has scars. Some just choose to embrace them while others try to bury them. The difference lies in acceptance. When you accept your scars, you stop pretending to be someone you're not. You stop living for others' approval. You begin to embrace your reality, even the painful parts of it. Acceptance doesn't mean you like what happened. It means you acknowledge that it's a part of your story, and you no longer let it control you. Many people keep reliving their pain because they refuse to accept their scars. They keep asking why it happened instead of accepting that it did. Acceptance brings peace. It removes the constant battle inside your head between who you are and who you wish you could be. Hiding your scars creates distance between you and others. It builds walls because you're afraid of being judged or misunderstood. But when you accept and own your scars, you build real connections. People are drawn to honesty. When you are honest about your struggles, you create space for others to be honest about theirs too. Your scars can become a source of strength for someone else who feels alone in their pain. They can inspire others to face their own truth. What once felt like a wound can become a light for someone else's path. Accepting scars also means accepting that healing is not about erasing the past. It's about learning to live with it without letting it define you. A scar is different from a wound. A wound hurts and bleeds. A scar is healed skin. It may not look the same as before, but it's stronger than it was. Your emotional scars work the same way. They don't disappear, but they become stronger parts of your identity, if you allow them to. When you accept them, you no longer fear them. They stop being painful reminders and start being quiet witnesses of your growth. There is a quiet power in standing in front of the mirror and acknowledging every scar, every flaw, every mark that life has left on you, without shame. It's in that moment that you reclaim your story. You stop giving the painful moments power over you. You start to own them. Acceptance turns weakness into resilience. It shifts your focus from "why did this happen to me" to "yes, this is a part of me and I can live with it." That shift is where inner peace begins to grow. Scars don't make you less. They make you real. They make your story meaningful. Every line, every mark, every memory that shaped you has a purpose. You don't have to hide the parts of you that hurt. You don't have to pretend they never happened. When you accept your scars, you embrace your truth fully. You stop dividing yourself into the parts you show and the parts you hide. You become whole again, not because the scars disappeared, but because you accepted them as part of your strength. Forgiving yourself is one of the hardest yet most powerful steps in the journey of fixing yourself. People are often quick to forgive others, but hold on tightly to their own mistakes, failures, and regrets. They replay the same moments in their minds over and over, punishing themselves long after the situation has passed. This self-punishment doesn't lead to healing. It leads to shame, guilt, and emotional paralysis. True healing starts when you give yourself the same kindness and understanding that you offer to others. You cannot move forward while holding yourself hostage to the past. Mistakes are a part of life. Everyone makes them, sometimes unintentionally, and sometimes out of fear or confusion. But carrying the weight of every mistake forever only keeps you stuck. Many people live in the shadow of, if only I hadn't said that. If only I had made a different choice. If only I had been stronger. These thoughts trap you in moments that no longer exist. They keep you emotionally tied to a past that cannot be changed. Forgiveness is the only way to break those chains. It is not about erasing the past. It's about releasing the grip it has on you. Forgiving yourself doesn't mean you're pretending your actions had no consequences. It means you acknowledge what happened, accept responsibility, and decide to grow from it. There's a difference between holding yourself accountable and endlessly punishing yourself. Accountability leads to growth, while punishment leads to self-destruction. When you keep blaming yourself, you make it difficult to see beyond your mistakes. Your focus stays fixed on the wrong, not on the lesson it brought. Self-forgiveness allows you to shift that focus and create space for change. Letting go of the past is a deliberate act. It doesn't happen by accident. It begins when you stop running away from your memories and face them honestly. You allow yourself to feel the regret, to understand the situation deeply, and then to gently release it. Many people fear forgiving themselves because they think it means they are excusing their behavior. But forgiveness is not an excuse. It's a choice to stop reliving the same pain every day. It's choosing to give yourself permission to grow beyond your worst moment. Holding on to guilt for too long can shape your identity in damaging ways. You start seeing yourself not as a person who made a mistake, but as a mistake. This mindset eats away at your confidence and self-worth. It affects the way you see opportunities, relationships, and your future. By forgiving yourself, you separate your identity from your past actions. You remind yourself that one moment, or even several moments, do not define your entire existence. You are more than what went wrong. You have the power to rewrite the story. Letting go of the past also means accepting that you cannot control everything. Sometimes you made choices with the knowledge and strength you had at that time. Looking back with today's understanding and judging your past self unfairly only creates unnecessary pain. Forgiveness requires compassion toward yourself. It requires understanding that you were human, learning, and growing, just like everyone else. That compassion is what softens the weight of guilt and allows healing to begin. Forgiving yourself also gives you the freedom to truly embrace the present. When you're constantly stuck in regret, You're not fully living in the moment. You're caught between what was and what could have been, missing what is. Self-forgiveness opens the door for new possibilities. It gives you emotional space to love yourself again, to trust yourself again, and to believe that you can do better moving forward. Without it, you remain chained to versions of yourself that no longer exist. The past cannot be changed, but the way you relate to it can. You have the choice to hold on to guilt or to release it with compassion. You have the choice to keep punishing yourself or to accept that mistakes are part of growth. When you forgive yourself, you are not forgetting what happened. You are choosing to live beyond. You are allowing yourself to grow, to breathe, and to step into a future that is not defined by your past. The past has a strong influence on how people see themselves and the world, but it is not meant to define who you become. Your past explains your journey, the choices you made, the experiences you lived through, and the lessons you gathered along the way. It gives context to your present, but it does not have the authority to decide your future. Many people allow their past to become their identity. They carry old labels, failures, and pain like permanent marks on their character. They tell themselves, "This is just who I am," not realizing that they are repeating old stories instead of writing new ones. The past can be heavy. It holds memories of mixed regrets, betrayals, missed chances, and painful moments. Sometimes it also holds achievements and moments of pride, which people cling to because they fear they'll never experience that level of success again. Whether the memories are painful or beautiful, living too deeply in the past keeps you from fully experiencing the present. It limits your growth by trapping your mind in moments that no longer exist. The past should serve as a teacher, not a prison. It's meant to guide, not control. Many people get stuck because they confuse explanation with definition. Just because something happened in your past doesn't mean it has to shape your identity forever. A failure in the past doesn't mean you are a failure as a person. A broken relationship doesn't mean you are unlovable. A bad decision doesn't mean you are incapable of making better ones now. These are experiences, not definitions. The moment you stop treating your past as a label and start treating it as a lesson, you begin to free yourself from its grip. It's also important to understand that the past cannot be changed, no matter how much you wish it could. What can change is the way you interpret it. You can choose to see it as a series of painful events that broke you, or as a series of experiences that taught you resilience. This shift in perspective doesn't deny the reality of what happened, but it gives you power over the story. It turns you from someone being shaped by the past into someone shaping meaning from it. This is where personal growth truly begins. Some people let their past mistakes silence their voices. They stop trying because they believe they have already ruined their chances. Others let their past achievements hold them back by constantly comparing their present to their peak moments. In both cases, the past becomes a ceiling instead of a foundation. The truth is, your value doesn't depend on what happened yesterday. Every day gives you the opportunity to learn, grow, and redefine yourself. You are not the same person you were years ago. Every experience has changed you, and that means you are capable of changing even more. Carrying the past like a burden slows you down. Imagine trying to walk forward while dragging a heavy bag full of old memories, disappointments, and mistakes. It exhausts you, distracts you, and makes the road ahead look longer than it is. When you choose to accept the past for what it is and leave behind what no longer serves you, you free yourself to move forward with lightness. This doesn't mean forgetting. It means understanding that the past's role is to teach, not to control. It's the difference between learning from a scar and reopening a wound every day. The past can explain why you think the way you do, why you react in certain ways, and why certain situations feel familiar. That understanding is valuable because it gives insight into your behavior. But after understanding comes responsibility. You can't use your past as a lifelong excuse for staying the same. Growth happens when you take what the past taught you and apply it to build something better. It's about honoring where you came from without letting it dictate where you are going. Your story is still being written, and every new choice is another line added to it. The way you speak to yourself shapes the way you live. Every thought, every quiet whisper in your mind slowly builds your self-image. Many people speak to themselves in ways they would never speak to another person. They criticize, doubt, and insult themselves without realizing the damage it causes. Harsh self-talk becomes a habit, and that habit creates emotional wounds that make healing harder. Speaking kindly to yourself is not about pretending everything is perfect. It's about choosing words that support your growth instead of words that tear you down. Healing is a daily process, and the words you use on yourself either make that process smoother or more painful. When you wake up and tell yourself you are not enough, that voice becomes your reality throughout the day. When you constantly remind yourself of your failures, your mind starts to believe that you are defined by them. But when you speak gently and kindly to yourself, even in difficult moments, you create space for strength to grow. Kindness doesn't erase challenges, but it gives you the emotional foundation to face them with resilience. Many people grow up learning to be kind to others, but never learn to apply that same kindness inward. They comfort friends who fall, forgive others easily, and encourage people around them. But when it comes to their own hearts, they become their toughest critic. This imbalance slowly eats away at confidence. It makes you believe that you must be perfect to deserve kindness. But you deserve it simply because you are human. Just like a plant cannot grow in harsh soil, your mind cannot grow in an environment filled with constant self-criticism. Speaking kindly to yourself also means being patient with your journey. Healing is not a straight line. Some days you will feel strong, and some days you will struggle. On the hard days, the way you talk to yourself matters even more. Instead of saying, "I'm weak," say, "This is a hard day, but I'm trying." Instead of saying, "I can't do this," say, "I'll take it one step at a time." These small shifts in language may seem simple, but they build emotional strength over time. They remind you that it's okay to be human, to fall, and to rise again. Another part of speaking kindly to yourself is recognizing and celebrating progress, no matter how small it seems. Many people are so focused on what's still wrong that they forget to notice what has improved. When you acknowledge your effort, you encourage yourself to keep going. This doesn't mean ignoring areas that need work. It means balancing honesty with compassion. You can be aware of your flaws without destroying your self-worth over them. You can admit mistakes without labeling yourself as a failure. Daily healing involves creating habits of positive self-talk. It's catching the moments when your mind says, "I'm not good enough," and choosing to replace that thought with something true and empowering. It's reminding yourself that growth takes time. It's allowing yourself to rest without guilt and to try again without shame. These moments may seem small, but they are powerful because they build the emotional environment in which you live. When you speak kindly to yourself, you set a tone of respect and love inside your mind. That tone affects the way you face challenges, the way you interact with others, and the way you see yourself. A kind inner voice doesn't mean you avoid responsibility or ignore reality. It means you treat yourself like someone who matters. Because you do. It's about being your own support system, not your own enemy. Over time, kind self-talk rewires how you see yourself. It builds resilience, self-worth, and the quiet confidence needed to heal fully. There is a powerful difference between living as a victim of your circumstances and living as a survivor of them. A victim mindset keeps you trapped in what happened, repeating the same story of pain, betrayal, or failure again and again. It focuses on the unfairness of life, on the things you lost, and on the people who hurt you. A survivor mindset acknowledges the pain but refuses to let it become the whole story. It says, "Yes, this happened, but it will not control the rest of my life." Rising as a survivor means choosing strength over helplessness, growth over bitterness, and purpose over blame. Many people unknowingly settle into the victim role because it feels familiar. It gives them a reason to explain why things are the way they are. It offers a sense of comfort in believing that external forces have all the power. But staying in that space slowly drains your energy. It keeps you looking backward instead of forward. It stops you from seeing your own strength and potential because you're too focused on what was taken from you. A survivor mindset doesn't ignore the pain. It transforms it into fuel for becoming stronger. Survivors understand that their story is not defined by the worst chapter. They don't deny their wounds, but they also don't let those wounds dictate their identity. They accept that life can be unfair, that people can hurt you, and that situations can break your heart. But they also believe in their ability to rebuild. This belief is not always loud or dramatic. Sometimes it's quiet and steady, like a small flame that refuses to go out. Every time you choose to keep going despite what happened, you are rising as a survivor. Taking back your power starts with your mindset. When you tell yourself that you are helpless, your actions follow that belief. You hesitate, you doubt yourself, and you wait for others to fix what's broken. But when you begin to see yourself as someone capable of overcoming, your behavior shifts. You start taking small actions that build strength. You stop relying on others to determine your worth. You become the one who decides what the next chapter looks like. This is not about denying the past, but about refusing to let it control your future. A victim mindset often focuses on questions like, why did this happen to me? While a survivor mindset shifts to, what can I do now? That shift changes everything. It moves you from a place of waiting to a place of action. It gives you the ability to create meaning from pain, to use your experiences as lessons instead of limitations. Survivors are not people who had easy lives. They are people who chose to stand up every time life tried to push them down. Another important part of rising as a survivor is learning to separate your identity from what happened to you. Painful experiences may shape parts of you, but they are not all of you. You are not your trauma, your failures, or your losses. You are the strength that carried you through them. When you start seeing yourself through this lens, you stop living under the shadow of your past. You begin to see your scars as evidence of resilience, rather than evidence of weakness. Survivors also understand the importance of moving forward, even if it's one step at a time. Healing doesn't always look like big leaps. Sometimes it's simply waking up and choosing not to give up. Sometimes it's forgiving when it's hard, letting go when it hurts, or believing in yourself when no one else does. These quiet acts of strength accumulate over time and shape a powerful mindset. Rising as a survivor is not about pretending nothing happened. It's about deciding that what happened will not have the final say. When you choose to rise as a survivor, you reclaim ownership of your story. You acknowledge the darkness, but refuse to live in it. You turn pain into purpose and weakness into strength. This shift doesn't happen in a single moment. It happens through daily choices. Every decision to keep going builds a foundation of resilience that cannot be easily shaken. It's a declaration not to the world but to yourself, that you are more than what tried to break you. There is a truth that many people avoid accepting. No one is coming to save you. No one will suddenly appear and fix everything you are going through. Life is not a movie where a hero enters at the perfect time. In real life, you are the one who has to take the first step toward change. It can feel lonely, and it can feel unfair, but it's also incredibly powerful. The day you stop waiting for someone else to solve your problems is the day you truly begin to take control of your life. People often believe that time will heal everything on its own. They think that if they wait long enough, things will automatically get better. But waiting without action only keeps you stuck in the same place. Healing is not passive. Growth is not accidental. Nothing changes unless you decide to change it. You have to make the choice to move forward, even if it's slow and uncomfortable. Taking the first step doesn't mean you have all the answers. It means you're willing to start without knowing exactly how the journey will unfold. There will be moments when you feel like giving up, because no one seems to understand what you're going through. You may look around and see people living their lives, while you are silently battling your struggles. In those moments, it's easy to wish someone would come and lift the weight off your shoulders. But no one can carry your emotions, your thoughts, or your inner battles for you. People can support you, they can guide you, they can love you, but they cannot walk the path for you. You are the one who has to take responsibility for your healing. Taking the first step is often the hardest because it requires courage. It means facing your fears without knowing the outcome. It means standing up when no one is clapping for you yet. It means believing that even a small step can lead to a big change. Many people wait for the right time to start fixing their lives. They say they'll begin when they feel ready, when things calm down, when someone encourages them. But the right time never comes by itself. The right time is created the moment you decide to act. When you rely too much on others to fix your problems, you unknowingly hand over your power. You start depending on their words, their actions, their presence to feel okay. And when they don't meet your